On August 1st, from 9 a.m., Azerbaijani forces attempted a major incursion in different sections of Nagorno-Karabakh. According to the Artsakh Defense Army, one soldier was wounded on the Armenian side. I'm joined now by CivilNet contributor and analyst Benyamin Poghosyan to discuss this. So, Mr. Poghosyan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Authorities in Nagorno-Karabakh were quick to try and calm the general public when this news came of this incursion by Azerbaijani forces. The foreign minister of Nagorno-Karabakh, David Babayan, was saying that everything is under control. Regardless of this, however, Azerbaijan's aggressive actions are causing worry and angst amongst the general public in Armenia and particularly in Nagorno-Karabakh. Can you explain what exactly happened yesterday and what was your initial reaction? And what do you think Azerbaijan is attempting? What exactly is their strategy?
From my perspective, the main reason behind yesterday's Azerbaijani actions was some frustration in the Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations. Probably Armenia did not accept or did reject some demand of Azerbaijan. And definitely now Azerbaijani government is frustrated and knowing very well that there is no possibility to take large territories, neither in Nagorno-Karabakh nor in Armenia. Again, I would like to emphasize he has no possibility, not wish. For wish, Azerbaijan always is dreaming about taking as much as possible, both from Nagorno-Karabakh and from Armenia. But obviously, currently Azerbaijani government understands that as far as Russian troops are in Nagorno-Karabakh and as far as Russian troops are in Armenia, to start a large-scale war both in Nagorno-Karabakh or Armenia and to take significant territories, it's out of Azerbaijani reach. But Azerbaijani government tries to put pressure both on Nagorno-Karabakh and also on Armenian government, telling that, okay, I understand, I am not able to take large territories, but I am able to create nervousness. I am able maybe to move forward for another 1 kilometer here or there. I am able to put some casualties on Armenian army, on Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army, and thus trying to convince or force Armenian government to accept all its demands during the negotiations. And Azerbaijani demands are clear-cut. They want so-called peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and they want that in peace treaty Armenia signs and agrees that either there is no Nagorno-Karabakh at all, or maximum some formal cultural autonomy for Nagorno-Karabakh, which definitely will result in no Armenians or almost no Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh.
And some believe, however, that developments are causing many to believe that Azerbaijan is preparing for a major provocation. Earlier yesterday, the Azerbaijani Defense Ministry called on citizens to not film or take photos of Azerbaijani troop movements. This has led to some to speculate that there may be a future major provocation. What do you think about these predictions that Azerbaijan is trying to make a major provocation in the future?
Definitely Azerbaijan prepares for another big war. And Azerbaijan believes that he should be prepared, that when there will be a window of opportunity, as was in September 2020, to start a large-scale war, Azerbaijan should be ready. But as of now, I don't see any possibilities that this window of opportunity for Azerbaijan will arise. But from Azerbaijani perspective, yes, they wait for window opportunity. Definitely, they are engaged in some diplomatic efforts trying to bring these windows of opportunity. So it's not the case that Azerbaijan simply increases its military capabilities, waits and see when this window opportunity is opened or will be opened. No, Azerbaijan prepares its military for a large-scale war, and also Azerbaijan makes some efforts to create these windows of opportunity, which will allow Azerbaijan to launch a large-scale attack against Armenia or Nagorno-Karabakh, the same window of opportunity which appeared or emerged in September 2020. But as of now, I don't see that this window of opportunity is coming. But of course, the Armenian government also should not wait and see, hoping that Russia, Iran, United States or any other force will simply prevent the emergence of this window of opportunity.
I mean, you kind of mentioned it, but Armenia has been working to increase international pressure on Azerbaijan to stop its aggressive actions. Is there sufficient international pressure or not enough? Or perhaps is the whole notion that international pressure will stop Azerbaijan a misconception? Is Armenia relying too much on international pressure to curtail Azerbaijan's aggressiveness?
Let's first of all understand what does it mean international pressure. If by international pressure we mean that someone from the United States, from Washington, from Brussels, from Paris will call Mr. Aliyev and say never dare to give an order to take Armenia, or if Azerbaijani army enters Syunik, Vayozor, or Nagorno-Karabakh, someone from any capital will call Mr. Aliyev and say no, get out from your troops. This is not going to happen. When I'm speaking what Armenia should do, not to bring this window of opportunity or bring closer this potential window of opportunity for Azerbaijan to launch a large-scale attack, we have to have clear understanding that currently Azerbaijan is not attacking Armenia or Nagorno-Karabakh only for one basic reason, because Russian troops are here and because Russia is not interested to allow Azerbaijan to attack Armenia. Of course, there is also the position of Iran, and the Supreme Leader on July 19 made it very, very clear that Iran would be extremely unhappy to see Syunik and other Armenian regions occupied by Armenia. So we have Russian troops, they are the #1 deterrence, and also we have Iran's position, but as I mentioned in one of my recent papers, if there will be large-scale attack, I exclude that Iranian army will enter Syunik and we will have Iran-Azerbaijan direct war in Armenian territory. This is not going to happen. But in any case, Iran's position is very significant, and Iran hints that it's ready to make some economic projects in Syunik to try to raise the living standards of Armenian population in Syunik and to prevent the exodus or immigration of Armenians from Syunik. So when I'm speaking about Armenia's efforts not to lose this window of opportunity, there are two components. Component #1, it's to try to revitalize or modernize Armenian army, which suffered heavy losses in 2020 war. This is #1. So also our army should be in a case not to allow Azerbaijan to take Syunik, or at least not to allow Azerbaijan to take Syunik within several days. So Azerbaijan should understand that even if he's able to take Syunik or Vayozor, it should take months and it will be very tough campaign and not like a simply catwalk in mountains near Goris and Kapan. And second, we should continue to work with Russia and with Iran to keep as much as possible from Armenian point of view, to keep their current positions, that they will be extremely unhappy to see part of Armenians' territory and also part of Nagorno-Karabakh occupied by Azerbaijan.
I also want to talk a bit about Russia. Many observers and analysts have been talking about a kind of rapprochement between Baku and the Kremlin. Russia is now the only permanent co-chair country of the OSCE Minsk Group whose ambassador has visited the city of Shushi, which is very contentious for Armenia. The head of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service signed a major deal with his Azerbaijani counterpart recently. And Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had been talking about the OSCE Minsk Group and the Madrid Principles, which is which is the basis of many of the negotiations, in a sort of dismissive way in many analysts' eyes. As Russia looks to bypass Western sanctions, is Azerbaijan growing in strategic significance for Russia, and how is that affecting Armenia and the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict?
As I understand the Russian strategic goal in South Caucasus, Russia wants to have influence, if not control, over all South Caucasus. So the situation when Russia only have influence in Armenia, while it's a very bad relation with Georgia and Azerbaijan, this is not acceptable for Russia. Because for Russia, entire South Caucasus is part of former Soviet space, where Russia believes it has privileged interests or zone of influence. You may use whatever terms you prefer to use. So from this perspective, the situation or prospect that Russia is having a war with Azerbaijan only to defend Armenia's interests, this is against Russia's vital national interest. Because again, first of all, Russia wants to have influence over all South Caucasus, which means that Russia is not interested to ruin its relation with Azerbaijan. Second, especially after the February 24, 2022, when war started in Ukraine, Azerbaijan is important for Russia also for logistical issues. First, it's a direct land access to Iran via Azerbaijan. And we saw that recently Russia even made a statement that it's ready to provide $1.5 billion loans to Iran to complete some railway projects inside Iran, which will finally launch this Russia, Azerbaijan, Iran railway connection. And second, Russia believes that Azerbaijan and also Armenia may play a significant role in having alternative road to Turkey, both railways and highways. That is why, from my perspective, Russia also is interesting for this restoration of communications, including via Sunik, like to have Russia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey railway and also highway, which may allow Russia somehow to circumvent Western sanctions and to be involved in this so-called parallel import or exports. But this does not mean that Russia will allow Azerbaijan to occupy parts of Armenia. Because if Russia allows Azerbaijan to occupy parts of Armenia or to take Nagorno-Karabakh, first, let's be very clear, the Russian troops in Nagorno-Karabakh are maybe the only very significant leverage on Russian heads against Azerbaijan, which Russia uses not to allow Azerbaijan to make like clear, overt anti-Russian actions. So if there is no Nagorno-Karabakh, or if there are no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, it means no Russian troops in Nagorno-Karabakh, it means no Russian troops in Azerbaijan, it means less and less Russian influence in Azerbaijan. So even from the perspective of Russia, that yes, I need to control or influence entire South Caucasus, which means I don't want to have detrimental relation with Azerbaijan, and I don't want to be perceived in Azerbaijan as an enemy. But I need some leverages over Azerbaijan. The most significant leverage as of now, and I believe for years or even for decades to come, these are Russian troops deployed in Nagorno-Karabakh. And Russia understands that if no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, it will be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to keep its troops in Nagorno-Karabakh. Second, regarding Armenia, yes, Russia is interested to influence also Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan is a very significant country for Russia, but it does not mean that Russia will sacrifice entire Armenia and transform Armenia into anti-Russia. Russia understood very well that even when there was a war in Nagorno-Karabakh, which territory was not legally covered by any Russian security guarantees, we saw huge uptick in anti-Russian sentiments in Armenia, because a lot of people here were complaining that yes, Russia, our strategic ally, we understand that there is no legal guarantees for Russia or legal obligations to protect Nagorno-Karabakh, but in any case, Russia didn't behave as a real ally. Let's assume what will happen if Azerbaijan occupies entire Sunik region or even several regions of Armenia and Russia is doing nothing. It will completely ruin Russia's position in Armenia. But as far as Russia wants to have friendly relations with Azerbaijan and have influence over Azerbaijan, Russia also is not interested to lose Armenia or transform Armenia into another anti-Russia. So which means that Russian efforts to have normal relations with Azerbaijan does not mean that Russia will allow to kick out Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh, because again, it will mean kick out also Russian troops. And second, it does not mean that Russia is interested to transform Armenia into another anti-Russia.
Mm-hmm. And the European Union obviously recently signed a major gas deal with Azerbaijan as it looks to move away from Russian gas. Has the strategic significance of Azerbaijan also grown for the EU? And does that mean that the EU's attitude towards Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh could change or shift in the future, in your opinion?
Regarding EU attitude towards Nagorno-Karabakh, as far as I understand, EU has a very clear position. They don't want to see Russian troops in Nagorno-Karabakh after November 2025. But also EU understands that if there is no deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan of a status on Nagorno-Karabakh, and if there is no deal and Russian troops withdraw, it will result in ethnic cleansing or even genocide. So Europeans are telling Armenia, yes, we are not interested in ethnic cleansing or in genocide of Nagorno-Karabakh Armenians because it is against the European or Western liberal values. But also we are interested not to see Russian troops in Nagorno-Karabakh after November 2025. That is why EU sends signals both to Armenia and Azerbaijan that please come to some sort of agreement of a status of Nagorno-Karabakh. And EU knows very well that in current conditions, any agreement could be only fixing the Nagorno-Karabakh in the best case scenario, as a part of Azerbaijan under some cultural autonomy. But EU, in any case, sends messages to Armenia and Azerbaijan that because we want Russian troops not to be in Nagorno-Karabakh, but we understand that without any deals, this will result in ethnic cleansing or genocide of Armenians. So please, we think that you should agree on some cultural autonomy for Nagorno-Karabakh, and EU will make efforts to prevent Azerbaijan from using this cultural autonomy for ethnic cleansing or whatever else. So this is EU position regarding Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenia, Azerbaijan. As for Azerbaijan is significant for EU energy geopolitics, first of all, let's go for numbers. In 2021, Russia exported some 150 or 155 billion cubic meters of gas to European Union. In 2021, Azerbaijan exported only 8 billion cubic meters. In 2022, Azerbaijan will export up to 12 billion cubic meters of gas. And according to MOU, which was signed on July 18 in Baku, Azerbaijan theoretically may export to EU up to 20 billion cubic meters of gas per year in 2027. But first of all, when the decision was made to construct this Trans-Anatolian pipeline, Trans-Adriatic pipelines, and launch the Southern Gulf Corridor, and the final investment decision was made in December 2013, almost 9 years ago. Even at that time, it was very clear that Azerbaijan will start from 8 billion per year export of natural gas, then it will reach 10 billion per year, and somewhere in 2025, 2026, Azerbaijan will reach 20 billion cubic meters of gas. So the MOU, which was signed on July 18, it has nothing new. So even in 2013, it was clear, for investment at least, that Azerbaijan somewhere in 2025, 2026 will be able to export maximum of 20 billion cubic meters of gas to European Union. So this MOU adds nothing new. Second, the key issue for EU is to replace Russian gas. And as I mentioned, in 2021, Russia exported approximately 150 or 155 billion cubic meters. So even if somewhere in 2026 or 2027, Azerbaijan exports will reach 20 billion cubic meters of gas per year, it will only cover up to 13 or 14% of Russian gas exports in 2021. So it means that even if EU wants it too much or desires it too much, or Azerbaijan desires it too much, Azerbaijan is not able to significantly decrease or significantly replace Russia as a sole gas exporter, as a gas exporter for the European Union. So from my perspective, a number shows that mostly this was PR, and frankly speaking, we have to congratulate Azerbaijani government because they made a really PR. They brought the President of European Commission, and we all know that EU everywhere, when you meet with European officials, they say that EU is a value-based organization. EU is not China, is not Russia, even is not the United States, because they are geopolitical beasts, while EU is a value-based organization. But President Aliyev managed to bring to Baku the President of the European Commission, and she made a 30-minute speech, and there was no mentioning about desire of European Union to see more democracy in Azerbaijan, or any hint that there are some problems with human rights or democracy or good governance with Azerbaijan. So this was really very significant and very successful PR action by the Azerbaijani government. Why European Union or why the President of the European Commission bought this, I'm not sure. But again, Azerbaijan is not in a position to significantly replace Russian gas exports to the European Union. And regarding the EU, the main problem for EU even is not the lack of gas, it's the price of gas. Theoretically, European Union can replace Russian gas by importing LNG from Qatar, from Australia, from the United States. But the LNG is much higher than Russian pipeline gas. And we should understand that gas is using not only for heating or for preparing the cook or cooking the food. The main usage of gas is in industry, and especially on those European countries whose economy depends on exports. For example, Germany. Germany economic development depends on exports. And the energy has some share in the final price for any products, which means that if Germany even will be able to find replacement for Russian pipeline cheap gas with some much expensive or more expensive LNG gas, it means that simply the price or the cost of production will increase, and some German products simply will be non-competitive. So Germany will be able to produce, but Germany will be able not to sell. And for example, we saw in 2022 that the first time starting from 1991, in the last 31 years, first time Germany now has the negative trade saldo, which means that Germany in 2022, Germany imported more than exported. And this will have terrible consequences for German economy because again, German economy and German development is based on exports. And we all know that Germany is a locomotive of EU economy. So frankly speaking, I believe that EU in general and Germany will suffer at least for several years.
Well, Mr. Poghosyan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.